All right. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Let's make sure you guys should all be popping in by now. So you guys will start popping in here on the Zoom stream. We'll get this going. Looks like we're officially live, which is fantastic. Awesome stuff right there. All right, guys, welcome. Welcome to day number 6. And I know we ended on Friday with day number 3, and now we're on day number 6. Well, guess what? No days off, my friend. No days off on the weekend. We carry right around. So today is not day number 4. It's actually day number 6 in our 90-day massive action game plan. So let's get rolling. You guys are pouring in here in the Zoom. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's get this party started. Let me do a quick recap and see where you guys are at. Let's make sure you guys are holding yourselves accountable to what we're talking about and what we've been diving into over the last several days. Really quick, guys, if you guys are either new to my channel or you guys are new to the training that we're doing here live, okay, make sure you guys head on over to the link in the description down below this video, and any of the videos in this playlist will take you right here to this playlist. You guys can go check out this information here. Again, make sure that you're up to speed. So if you're coming in kind of halfway through, if you're just joining today for the very first time, you may want to go back and watch these from the beginning. Yes, these are lengthy trainings, but we go into a lot of detail and we give you a boatload of value. And today is going to be no different, my friends. I'm actually bringing out a special guest here in a few minutes, so make sure you guys hang tight. But we're going to be going over another key action step in our income producing activities. So as an example, last week we went over teaching and showing you guys 3 to 5 short form videos per day uploaded to the various platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Insta, and so on. And as a matter of fact, if you guys go over to the short form video folder, I just added 4 new videos this morning. So just take the excuses out of there, guys. I'm literally handing you guys on a silver platter all of the short form video content that you guys can be using. Yes, you want to be going and, kind of creating your own thing and starting to be able to get comfortable making your own videos, because over time you're just going to learn the lingo and the verbiage and the language and whatnot. But what I also did here too, you guys will see these videos. These say week 1, and the ones that are uploaded this morning all say week 2. So anything that I upload this week is going to be week 2. Everything from last week was week 1. Okay. So again, you guys got plenty of videos in there. Today, guys, we're going to be diving into, let me recap again real quick. So we also talked about last week, we had a special guest come out. We talked about doing reach outs, okay, daily reach outs. And we also had a guest on Friday, okay, and we talked about doing 1 Facebook post per day in the style of RVL. Lisa was on last Friday, dropped some serious value. And again, guys, today is going to be no different. So let's check, guys. Gut check time. Did you guys do over the weekend? So in other words, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we won't count today because it's early, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, did you guys do your reach outs? Did you guys do your short form videos? And did you guys do your posts? I've been following some of you guys on Facebook, and I've been seeing some of you guys are doing the work. But if you guys did the activity, okay, if you guys did the activity, do me a favor and comment IPA for income producing activities. If you guys did all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you guys did all 3 days, comment IPA down below. That lets me know that you guys are serious. You guys are actually doing the activities. So whether you guys are watching over on the live stream or you guys are here in the Zoom meeting now, make sure that you guys are commenting IPA if you did the work. And again, just think, you guys are here. This is a 90-day massive action game plan. Okay. You guys are learning these things, but the most important process here is to go do the damn thing. Go take the action. If you're just going to hang out and you're going to watch the videos and you're not going to do anything, what are you doing? Why are you here? Why are you wasting your time if you're not going to go do it? So if you actually did it, comment the word IPA. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you did the reach outs. You did your Facebook posts each day, and you also did 3+ short form videos per day on the respective platforms. Okay. Again, comment IPA if that is you. All right. Now, my friends, we're going to really start to dive into it and talk about something that is I really, really, really enjoy doing. And we're going to open up basically like a whole new can of worms today and talk about other ways that you guys could generate massive, massive, massive amounts of sales. And this is one thing that is on this is one thing that's on our checklist, our 90-day massive action checklist, and that is doing webinars. Okay. That is doing webinars. Now, I'm undecided right now. I'm still on the fence. I'm just being honest with you guys, super transparent about whether I want to do them once a week or I want to do them bi-weekly. But I'm going to say in the beginning, let's go for weekly. Let's really build that audience up. Okay. A lot of you guys commenting on the live stream, IPA, love that. Margaret, Martha, Sean, awesome. You guys are commenting here on the Zoom as well. Appreciate that. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys for chiming in. Oops, let me pull up the right doodad there. So good. You guys are being accountable to actually doing the work. This is good. So today we're going to be talking about doing webinars. And I know, a lot of you guys might just kind of pooped your pants a little bit because like, oh my gosh, doing a webinar. That's crazy. I don't know what to say, what to do, all that other stuff. Well, good news, my friend. We have a template for you guys to follow, and we're going to walk you through that today. I'm going to bring on a special guest here in just a minute, and she is a master of doing webinars, getting people onto the webinar and closing those sales, not only on the webinar live, but also doing really great and detailed follow-up and closing massive amounts of sales. Matter of fact, she just did a webinar a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know how many like global sales she closed. I think it was either 4 or 5 or 6. These are people paying $2,500. How many of you guys would want a $2,500 sale? So do me a favor, comment right now. If you guys would want a $2,500 sale, comment $2,500 down below. Again, here in the Zoom, over on the live stream, if you guys would like a $2,500 sale, how about multiple $2,500 sales? Because that's exactly what can happen when you do a webinar and when you do a webinar effectively. And I know that might be nerve-wracking for some, and we're going to talk about this process, but plain and simple, webinars work, and they work really, really well. So we're going to talk about some of the finite details as we get going through here. But right now we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the importance of why webinars are so, so, so important and all of those other things. So without further ado, I want to bring out my guest, Kirsty, guys. Welcome, Kirsty. Give her some love down in the comments. She is an actual master of doing webinars, getting people to the webinar, putting on an awesome, awesome presentation, really, really, really connecting with her audience in a really great, powerful, and emotional way, and closing those sales like a pro. So, Kirsty, great to have you on here. I know it's super early, your time frame. So thank you for pulling away from your family, hanging out with us. What's got you fired up today?
So this type of thing is definitely what has me fired up, because not only does it work, but it works really well when you follow a system and a formula to it. Just like following a recipe to baking a cake or baking cookies or bread or whatever it is. If you want the exact result, you follow it to a T, right? And anyone can do a webinar. Anyone can do a webinar and close sales. Anyone can. Even if it's your first time, you should have seen me my first time. I was actually with Daniel as a co-host doing my first ever webinar. I was so stressed out all day long. Butterflies, heart pounding up until I started. And even when I was in the webinar, you could hear it in my voice. I had to swallow and I wasn't sure what to say, even though I had practiced it a billion times. But that formula is what allowed me to now do webinars and not be nervous at the beginning, not be nervous during, ask for the sale at the end, and be prompt and proud of it. I know a lot of times people will say, okay, well, it's this amount. And then in their head, when they say that, okay, so you can start today for only $630, and then you're nervous, the audience then feels nervous. And there's a way to combat that so that when you say the prompt, when you have the CTA, when you ask for the sale, when you assume the sale throughout the webinar, that it's more natural and flowing, just the same as if I said, hey, Sean, hey, Martha, do you want to go get hot chocolate today? It will be normal for you. If you're good with normal, just put the word normal. Because I know for me, when I started a couple years ago, my first webinar, yes, I did close sales, but I was so nervous. I probably could have done better had I just said, you know what? These are people who need what I have. And if they decide to take a bet on them, that will be okay. And if they do not, that will also be okay. You know what I mean? So, very fired up and excited about it because everyone starts at zero. Everyone doesn't know what they do for a webinar and how to do it effectively. And today you're going to learn a little bit of the how. So, that's a
Yep.
great thing.
Also want to shout out everybody here, both on the Zoom here, hanging out with us, and also over on the live stream. We got folks on both, which is great to see. And you guys are obviously taking time out of your day, especially early in the day, 10 a.m. Eastern here. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Now, one thing before we dive into the document and kind of walk through this process. But I want to let you guys know, like the first time you guys go to do a webinar, you're going to be nervous. You're going to poop your pants, just like Kirsty talked about. You're going to have that little lump in your throat, like, oh my gosh, this is so nerve wracking. And you know what? Like, it's easy. And some of you guys have commented stuff like this over the last few days. Like, what if I don't have a following? What if I'm not, skilled at doing this, whatever? Like, again, just like we already stated, everyone starts at zero. It's up to you guys if you want to stay there. The first time you do a webinar, you might have one person on there. You might have two. But you know what? The next time you do a webinar, you might have five people on there. As you're building your craft and you're getting better and you're posting more consistently and you're taking those day-to-day actions. And then the third time you do a webinar, maybe have 10 people on there, maybe have 15. And then you got more and more people paying attention to what you're doing. So is it worth it to keep going and getting more and more people on a webinar each time you do one? Because chances are, the more people that are on there, the better chances you have to close sales. So it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to don't think of it as defeat if you do a webinar and you only have one person watching. You know what? That one person is paying attention to what you're saying. And that person might join your business. That person might blow up your downline. You never know. But the point is, you always got to put the passion, energy, and excitement into it and go, and you're going to build over time. Right. So
Now, something on that too, something that it's like more of a mindset trick.
mhm.
Let's say you do your first webinar, you have the exact flow for what we talk about today. You're following the formula, you're nervous, but you're doing your best, right? If you only have 5 people on, just put a 0 at the end of that or put a 1 at the beginning. Trick your mind into thinking there's more people there. On top of that, if that does not work for you because it's mind over matter, I want you to visualize that you have 5 people in a room and you're on stage. Not to make you more nervous, but if you were in person talking to 5 people, 12 people, 3 people, 15 people, however many, you pour into them with passion, energy, and excitement, right? So act as if they're there. They've paid a ticket to come see you on stage. You're in person. They can see you, your body language, everything. They could shake your hand at the end. Would you show up differently for that webinar in person if there was only 12 or 15 or 5 people? Yes, you would. So have that be your mindset when you're on a live video also. Make sense? Just had to add that.
No, perfect. So what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to share our screen. Do you want me to share my screen or do you want to share yours?
You can do yours. That's fine.
Okay. So what we're going to dive into now, guys, is the webinar part of your 90-day massive action game plan. Okay. So we're talking about one business overview or business style webinar per week. And you can do this, as far as like, oh, when should I do it? You could do it whenever you want, whatever time frame works best for you. I'm not going to tell you like, oh, it has to be done at this time. You just kind of have to do it on your schedule. And you could do this multiple different ways. You could do this as a Facebook Live. You could do this as a Zoom, like we're doing now, kind of like I'm doing a Zoom, but I'm also streaming into YouTube. You could do this multiple different ways. And again, it's really up to you how you want to do this. Now, if you want to host a webinar in Zoom and you don't know how to do that, Google's your best friend. YouTube's your best friend. You could go learn that stuff. I don't need to teach you how to do that stuff. If you want to go live on Facebook and you're not sure, again, Google and YouTube are your best friend. But plain and simple, guys, the reason why we added this piece into the massive action game plan is Kirsty, if we were to look back over the last 3 years, as the funnel team here, like, I don't think there's any particular moments where we close more sales than doing a webinar. We've had days
100%.
where I mean, we've closed what, like 40, 50 sales in a 24-hour period by doing a webinar.
Right. Yep.
So like, guys, this stuff works. Okay, this stuff works. So what we're gonna do when you guys go to access your folder, okay, and again, this is in our funnel team training site. You guys know where this is. I've showed you where this is. You got to be on our funnel team to get access to this free folder, all the content that we're giving you here in this massive action playlist. Okay, so when you go to webinar presentations, you guys can open this up and you see this document right here. Obviously, this is what we're going over with today, and you guys have free access to this, obviously, again, over in our team training site. So, Kirsty, you want to start walking us through this document that you put together for us?
Yep, sure. So in a team webinar or one that you host yourself, there's two different ways to do it, but the concept, the umbrella of what we're talking about is the same. Okay. If you're doing a team webinar, which we do often on the funnel team, and again, if you want to be part of the funnel team, for sure, get with whoever invited you here and make sure to get rocking. But when you're part of the funnel team, it's fairly often, every few weeks or so, every couple months, that we do a team webinar. The point of a team webinar is to have someone else be the selling and telling for you, have them be the expert, them do the heavy lifting, and you just get leads and prospects there, right? Today, we're going to more so, maybe even more so, focus on you doing your own webinar where you will do engagement posts on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and get people to your own webinar. And then you are the one presenting the business opportunity. You're the one talking about the at-home business. You're the one giving the CTA at the end and giving that audience 3, 5, 10, 15, 60 people your affiliate link. Okay. But the point of a webinar is to connect, it's to collaborate, it's to answer questions in real time. It's also to spotlight others, give evidence and proof for who's doing what, why a person would want to join your team, why they would want to enroll with your business. You're giving evidence. Does that make sense, guys? Now, the more people you have there, the more you can close. It's a numbers game, right? But
Mm-hmm.
again, if you only had 5 people there, you could still close 2 or 3 of them, depending how much you follow the points of the webinar. You're the expert, you have the authority, so act like it. It doesn't matter if it's your first time doing the webinar or it's your 10th, or say you're nervous as all get out. The audience doesn't know unless you tell them, right? So you show
Mm-hmm.
up as the authority, people are going to want to buy from you because people buy from people. They don't buy the business, they don't buy the product, they buy the person and how that person made them feel. You feel me?
Let me add this one
Yeah, go
comment here,
ahead.
guys. I want you to remember this, and please, like, comment this here on the live stream. Comment this over on the Zoom as well for those, because we got people here on both. Okay, what you lack in skill, you can make up for in numbers. Okay, I'll say that again.
Yep.
Comment this below. What you lack in skill, you can make up for in numbers. So, to Kirsty's point, you could be super, super nervous. You could be doing your very first webinar, very first presentation, and you're super, super nervous, right? But obviously, the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. But the more and more people that you have on the webinar, the more and more people you start presenting to over time, in a nutshell, it is just a numbers game, and the more sales you're going to make. So maybe you're not super, super good right now at webinars, but maybe you're really good at posting. Maybe you're really good at engaging people in the comments. Maybe you're really good at that. So you can increase your numbers, right? And you could get good over time. But again, what you lack in skill, you can make up for in numbers. So just focus on the consistency and those numbers, and the sales will happen over time.
Yep. 100%. Now, for current leads that you have, if you're the one getting them on the webinar, or if it's a team webinar where someone else is doing the selling and telling for you, you're just in charge of getting prospects to that webinar. If you scroll down a little bit there for me, Daniel, for current leads, here are a handful of examples for something you could say to a current lead. Say you get a notification on your app, right? You're part of the funnel team, you get a notification on your app for a lead who just hit your funnel. If you're hosting a webinar for tomorrow, you could engage with them and say something like what you're reading here. Now, I'm not going to read all of these things, but I want you to think about which one stands out for you. Feel free to edit it the way you see fit, but then also understand that you're following a formula within these examples here. You're still following a formula. You're still hooking the person in for why they'd want to respond back, right? You are still having that build up, that rapport piece of why they want to listen to you, why they'd want to respond back, right? And then you're giving a CTA, you're presenting value for why they would want to come to a webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Just drop the word make sense if you feel me, okay? These are just examples for current leads. Say you have the cha-ching on your phone. You've got Billy Bob who you can talk to and Helga who you can talk to. You have a webinar going on tomorrow, just as the example. If you're going to be hosting a webinar for this at-home business and you want Billy Bob and Helga there, message them one of these things to engage them. The worst that could happen is they either don't respond or they say, heck no, I'd rather, poke my eyes out than make more money, right? That's the worst that could happen. So always ask. I think that's a big thing that people forget is they don't ask for the sale. I mean, imagine if you took one of these examples for current leads and you said, hey, Billy Bob, I'm holding a work at home webinar tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Would Billy Bob need to respond? Yeah, cool. Do you want a gold star? Who cares? You're holding a webinar. If you don't ask for the sale, meaning, do you want to come? Do you want to get registered? Would you like to be there? If you don't ask for what it is you're reaching out for, you don't know the end result for why it is you're texting or responding or emailing that person, then there's no reason to correspond with them at all if you don't know the end result you're after, if you don't
Mm-hmm.
ask for it. Does that make sense? Now,
Truth.
yeah, truth.
I
Hashtag
also,
truth.
what's also cool too here, guys, with these, like you could easily send this as a message. You could send it as a direct message, send it as a text message.
Yep.
These could also, you could flip these, and this could also work as a great Facebook post. So,
Amen.
if you go back to, our posts per day here, right? On our action step here, we're talking about at least minimum one Facebook post per day, right? RVL, results, value, lifestyle. You could easily be taking these and turning it into, just like we did last week on Friday and showed you guys, hey, if I could do X, insert, result and desire here, you could take that same sort of feel and apply this to it, and do those same sort of posts, those engagement style posts where you're trying to get people to obviously say, hey, yeah, I want info, or give me the link, or whatever it is. And then you could engage with them in the DMs.
Yep. And also in your folder for those on the funnel team and those who are not, this is something to consider if you want to have an at-home business. In the folder and on this document we have for you guys today, you're going to have examples of Facebook posts that work, that go viral. Hey, who wants to come to my webinar? But there's a system and a reason in which to do it and what to say. And it's specific for Facebook posts, but same idea for what you're seeing here. You could turn that into a Facebook post. You could also use the Facebook post folder examples that I have. They're black. It's hard to miss. I mean, it's just like a black background. You could post that on your Instagram story. You could post that on TikTok. You could say it in a short form video. So don't think you're limited, right? These aren't just DMs or texts or cha-chings on your phone talking to Helga or Billy Bob. This is for you to use across the board, however you see fit. Okay. There's no limit. It's your business. You're the authority. So use the marketing tips however you wish. Does that make sense? Now, if you
Comment makes
scroll
sense, guys.
down,
That makes sense.
yeah, please. Scroll down there a bit for me. For new leads, so say you get a lead today on Facebook direct message. Say you get a cha-ching on your phone, Joe just hit your funnel. If you're having a timely webinar and you want Joe on there rather than watching the video from the funnel that you get for free on the funnel team, if you want him there, here's 3 examples of what you could say. Hey, Joe, happy to connect. You can watch my overview now and get involved, or you can come to my live webinar tomorrow, this afternoon, whenever it is, and then ask which they prefer, because there's a chance they're going to watch the funnel video and there's a chance that they'll want to come to the webinar also. So give them the option. Does that make sense? Now, the reason you would do that is because if you have a scheduled webinar for tomorrow, for example, literally just the example, I'm not saying you have to do this, but you should, haha. If you have a webinar for tomorrow and you want butts and seats, then yeah, invite Joe there. Again, when you're texting Joe back, when you're DMing him back, what's your intent? Do you want to see him on the webinar? If the answer is yes, ask for it. The answer is no till you ask for exactly what you want and what result you're looking for, okay? If you go down a little bit there for me, for those who ask if there will be a replay, this is where a lot of times I make the most money, and here's why. People want the replay, but leading up to the webinar, let's say it's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, leading up to the webinar, for those who comment on a Facebook post, those who comment on my TikTok video, whatever, and say, I can't make it, or what time, I'm not sure, will there be a replay? Here's 3 examples for what you can say back when someone asks about a replay. The reason these examples make sense and the reason they're important is because if you say, oh yeah, there's a replay, why would Joe or Billy Bob or Helga want to show up if they know there's a replay? Now, there's a replay. There's urgency. There's excitement about having a replay too. And there's a formula for doing that. But when you say register, because if I send out a replay, if the demand is there, which there will be, hey, the demand for it's high, so there's a chance I'm going to send out a replay, but only registrants will get first dibs. If you want first dibs, DM me for the registration link, right? The replay, there's a huge advantage to that. So pay attention to engagement posts before the webinar. Hey, will there be a replay? Let's say Joe's not sure if he can come. Use one of these 3 examples for responding to Joe, making it so he wants to register. And it's exclusive. This is urgent. No, there might not be a replay. But if there is, based on demand, because it's freaking high demand, Joe, if you want the replay and get first dibs, you got to get registered. I'm just not sure if we're going to send one out because spots might be filled, right? There's urgency to that. There's the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And maybe Joe, although he had a really good excuse to not be there, maybe now based on your response, he wants to be there because he doesn't want to miss out. Does that make sense, guys? Just drop an emoji for me in the chat on here on Zoom and on the live video through YouTube if you feel me. And even those on the replay, if this has helped you up to this point, just drop an emoji for me. Any thoughts on that, Daniel, before we move on?
No, I think, when people ask if there's going to be a replay, it's like now you have an engaged lead right there.
Right.
And I think that's what people need to like really key in on is you have an engaged lead, someone that you can easily follow up with and most likely easily get a response back from. And this is what, when we talked about doing, the reach outs last week, and especially when we talked about on Friday, guys, when we talked about Facebook and responding to comments on your post. And, Kirsty, I know this, you don't just drop a link and walk away and then hope that they sign up and make you $1 million. Like you drop a link and then you circle back and you follow up. So when people are asking if there's a replay, you could hit them up in the DMs and then you could start engaging in conversation and finding out more about them and why they want the replay. Why is it important to them? Like, and you could be that resource for them. You could be the authority in your niche and really get them kind of ready and excited for that replay. So it's when someone asks this could be a really engaged lead for you.
And it definitely is, because imagine for a moment, Joe's like, oh, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Oh, I'm at work, or, oh, I have, my daughter's this or that or whatever. Now, during that time when he's at work or when he's driving around or whatever, he can't make it. He's thinking about the webinar. He is thinking about how he hopes there's a replay. So if you can engage in a direct message before that and inquire and get to know him, how much do you want to make, that kind of thing. Hey, yeah, first dibs will go out if there's a replay. I'll be in touch, or message me tomorrow night after the live video is over and see if there's a replay, right? You're the authority and there's a big rapport building there. Now, because you know that you have a hot lead, even if Billy Bob or Joe or Helga does not show up to the webinar live, Joe, Billy Bob, Helga, they are excited to hear from you. So if you can engage before and after that, hey, Joe, based on demand, I'm sending out the replay. I've opened up another 12 spots. Do you want first dibs? Joe's probably going to respond and be like, heck yeah, please, right? And then you follow up with him. Because that's a more engaged lead than just someone who comments and says, I'm in. Well, did they text you? Did they message you? Did they just expect the comment back with the link? There's no way to track that if it's in a public forum. That's why you take it in a direct message, in a text, in an email, something that's one-to-one. Because if they register for your webinar, sure, that might be your webinar. But if it's a team webinar, there's no way to track it, right? The CTA is more general. If it's your own webinar, you for sure want to be tracking it because it's rapport building. The reason I can close so many sales, global sales especially, in a webinar isn't because I'm lucky. It's not because I have this prim and proper way of speaking or something. No, it's about rapport building. Do you guys know what that is? When you build rapport, 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 rapport building. It's building a relationship. It's having the first superficial conversation of how's the weather, but then you dive in deeper and get to know the person, right? When you ask a question like, how much do you want to make? How come watching the webinar is important to you? They're going to say, oh, I got to get out of debt. Oh, I really hate my boss. Oh, I really want to, make X amount so I can do this with my kids, whatever. You get to know them, right? And someone who feels cared about buys. Someone who has a feeling, they feel good being around you, talking to you, seeing you on a webinar, they buy from you because there's rapport, there's a relationship there. Make sense?
I think I want to just add, like, when you go back to what we talked about on Friday, guys, and we talked about doing Facebook posts, and these two, like, Friday's training and today's training really kind of blend well together. We talked about three different types of posts you could do: results, value, lifestyle. So think about the word value for a second. And this ties right into rapport. So when someone's watching you on a webinar, like, if they feel that you're literally just there to pitch them, you're pitching, 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 obviously they're going to be a lot less likely to buy. But when you provide value, and think of yourself from the end consumer's point of view, what value is someone going to get by joining you? And when you're honest and you're sincere and you're literally offering up a ton of value, and they can see and feel that value, well, like, wow, if I join Sean or Lori or Margaret or whoever, if I join them, like, I'm really going to get taken care of. I'm really going to get a lot of value. So think about that as you're putting your content out there, and think about that with the person on the other side of the screen. It's the same thing with the trainings that we're doing here in the massive 90-day game plan. It's like, I'm trying to give you guys as much value as possible. So when people come here, they know they're going to be able to walk away with something. It's the same thing when someone watches one of your webinars. They're going to be able to know that if they work with you, they're going to be able to get something in return. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So think about what is in it for them. Okay.
And then express that on the video. Because if you're just pitching, yes, a webinar does include a pitch because you're asking for the sale, right? But it's all the leading up to that and how they feel leading up to that and after that, that makes a person want to buy, makes a person feel they have no choice but to buy, because you are providing X plus Y equals the Z that they're after, right? And if you're not providing them the solution that they're after by building rapport, you are just pitching, right? And we don't want to do that. We don't want to just pitch. We want to provide the value for why it is that they want to get involved today as opposed to tomorrow, why they want to choose you as opposed to another at-home business. What is it that you can make them feel that's remembered? Okay. It's like a way of branding, which is an entire training in and of itself. Now, urgency for getting in now. If you're serious about working at home, don't want to wait till Tuesday, don't want to wait till tomorrow, whenever you're doing your webinar, I'm happy to hold a training spot for you today. Do you want to watch my previous live training? Which could just be the funnel. It could be the all-in-one funnel that is the best right now on our team, the funnel team. It could be where you send them something based on urgency, based on what they're saying, they're ready to rock. They don't want to wait till tomorrow. Maybe they still show up tomorrow. But again, if you're asking for what it is you want, you're asking for the sale because that's the result you're looking for, then the worst I could say is, no, I'll just wait till tomorrow. No, I'll just come to the webinar and decide then, right? But there's the chance that based on your conversation up to that point, that you could close a sale before a webinar based on your engagement. Now, I personally, the reason this is highlighted here and the reason I have it in parentheses for you guys is the funnel team link, like the all-in-one funnel, whatever else that you've got back there as a funnel team member, those funnels convert. And I call it the overview. The overview, the intro, the tutorial of how to work online. Do you want to watch my tutorial now for how to work at home? Right? I call overview, tutorial, intro, something like that. But just know that I'm talking about the all-in-one funnel. I'm talking about the funnels you have in your funnel team training system. Does that make sense? You can scroll down a little bit for me, Daniel. Okay. And then once they're registered, awesome, I have you on my roster. Okay. The reason for a roster, as you can see in yellow there in the middle, is it's a one-to-one communication, keeps track of hot leads. It makes it feel like you literally wrote down their name, which maybe some of you guys actually will. For me, I actually don't write down names anymore because I have so many people who show up. We're talking hundreds of people, right? So for me to write it down, not necessary. But I always respond back with the same thing. So it's easy for me to follow up later after the webinar in DMs, text, whatever, because I know who I sent the registration link to after they admitted they were coming, after they said, yep, I'm ready for the registration link, right? The point of a roster is to make them feel important, not because it's a sales technique. Let's just be real right now, okay? Some of you are thinking it's a sales thing. It's not. I mean, it could be. But from my perspective, my intention, I'll add you to my roster, Joe, or DM me to get on my roster. It's because I really do care about Joe. It's because I really do want to build a relationship. And it's because I will add him to my roster and pay attention to if he's there because I care, okay? Someone who feels cared about buys. They do. All of you guys here, some of you on the funnel team, some of you not, you've gotten to know me and Daniel really well. And I would hope that we at some point have made you feel good, have made you feel like you can go to the distance with this business. And it's because we truly care. Make sure that you are truly caring about your leads, not just that you need a sale. You can go make money however you want, right? You can go donate plasma and make money, but you chose this at-home business because you care about people. So make sure that that caring piece of you comes out when you talk to your leads. Okay. That's the point of a roster, aside from what you can read here. Now, engagement right before. I personally love doing this because it's a way of accountability. I don't even care if they respond back. Hey, Joe, see you in 10 minutes. I love this one, which seems kind of silly and redundant, but the reason I like it is because it's a roundabout way of being accountable. Hey, Joe, are you inside the waiting room yet? Or the last one, hey, Joe, I'm hopping on the Zoom now. Are you there already? You're assuming so strongly. You're assuming the sale. You assume they're already there. You're in the waiting room, right? Oh, no, I'm not. Just barely hopping on, right? That's what they'd respond with if they're not already there.
In a way,
That's
too, you're also
exciting.
kind of making them accountable to what they said they were going to do, like without
Exactly.
having to say it.
Right. Hey, how come you're not here? You know,
Yeah. Hey,
hey,
you
you're in the
said you're going
waiting
to be
room,
here.
you
Where
know?
are you?
Yeah. It's not a point of desperation. Those three examples for engagement right before, the reason you engage before is because, again, you care. You want to see them on the webinar. You want to, if it's you presenting on the webinar, for example, right? You're the authority. You hold that posture because you do. When Joe hops on and you just barely text him 10 minutes ago, you can say, Joe, it's awesome you made it. Billy Bob, great to see you. Helga, I'm so glad you got my text just a minute ago, right? And you don't have to acknowledge everybody. If you only have, 3 people there, 30 people there, you don't have to acknowledge everybody. But if Alex hopped on and heard you say, Helga, I'm so glad you got my text message. And Alex then thinks, well, I got a text message too. Wow, she really cares about us. That's good. Alex would feel cared about even if you don't directly call him out with his name. Okay. During the webinar, this is more so if someone else is doing the selling and telling for you. So say, we have a different person, an expert, me, Daniel, someone else come in and present the at-home business, and you were just in charge of getting your leads there. During the webinar, obviously, if you're the one presenting, you're not going to be talking to Billy Bob or Alex or someone, right? But you'd be engaging with them when they comment as the webinar presenter. These types of things, like the 3 under during the webinar, as soon as they comment, notice their name, acknowledge them. If you're the one presenting, that's you vocalizing it. If you're not the one presenting and it's someone else, that's you typing in the chat, hey, Joe, great to see you. Hey, Alex, thanks for showing up. Holy cow, Billy Bob, did you hear that? Right? You acknowledge them. You do something during the webinar when you see them engage. Does that make sense? Just drop the word yes in the chat here on Zoom and on YouTube if you feel me, okay? And then following up after the webinar, let me just tell you guys, I make a lot of sales following up afterward, whether people were there or they were not, whether it's a conversation of, hey, Joe, do you want the replay? Or it's, hey, Alex, saw you on tonight. How can I help you get started? Hey, Billy Bob, what level are you coming in at? Hey, Joe, are you ready for the enrollment link? Right? You're asking for the sale. You're assuming they were there. Okay. For me, just as a different example, if I've got 300 people registered and I don't know if Alex showed up, because I don't recall him commenting, or maybe there was a few Alexes and I wasn't sure if it was him, or, maybe he commented his iPhone 12, I would still follow up and say afterward, hey, Alex, were you able to make it tonight? And let him respond. That's a point blank question, yes or no. If he responds yes, then I'd say, awesome. How can I help you get started? Because you're there to help. You're not saying, so do you have any questions? No, you don't want to open up a can of worms. You want to assume the sale. How can I help you get started? Oh, well, I have this question on. If they have an objection, if they have a concern, they have a thought, they'll say that after you say, how can I help you get started? That question goes for everything, by the way. That's not just webinars. Someone who just hit your funnel, they engage back, you texted them because you got the ching on your app from the funnel team, right? That's a huge piece of value you guys have, the app. When they respond back, they're like, oh yeah, I'm watching the video now. Well, depending which video it is, 10, 15 minutes go by, you could follow up 20 minutes later and say, glad you watched the video. How can I help you get started? Especially if they just said, yeah, I'm watching the video now. I love the question, how can I help you get started? Because it allows them to, if they have a question or an objection or a thought, concern, whatever, they need clarity on something, they're wondering which level to do, then after that question, they will ask it. But if you say, do you have any questions? Hello, you're not customer service, be an authority. How can I help you get started? Has a vibe of customer service, but it's not you being customer service, going back and forth, wasting your time. Does that make sense? Just drop the word yes if you feel me, okay? There's just a few examples there. There's 5 for following up after. Feel free to pick and choose whichever one you want. Edit it with your own voice, however you see fit. Recap, okay? The last team webinar we did was getourfreesystem.com. I'll probably just edit that out here in a moment because it's not applicable to you currently. But sending it out, okay, when you're sending it out, make sure, like the webinar link, whether your own or a team webinar, make sure that it's, in my opinion, hooked to a domain. Now, you don't have to. You could create a Zoom link and have it be zoom.com 1117Q57, you could have it be like that if you want. But if you
YouTube
have
link.
it, yeah, or a YouTube link, right? I would recommend having it be hooked to a domain. So choose the domain. One of the guys on our funnel team has a domain that says the money Zoom. And so when he's hosted webinars or when he's registered people or whatever, he hooks that Zoom link to his themoneyzoom.com link because it's easily readable, it's easily spelled, it's not a bunch of numbers and letters, right? Facebook Messenger, by the way, would block you if you're sending a huge zoom.com 007Q5 link faster than a themoneyzoom.com link. Does that make sense? You want it to be clean. You want it to be easily readable. If you want to do that. Now, you don't have to go purchase a domain. You could just send it via text, right? And you're not going to get blocked if it's on your phone. That's just something that I enjoy because it's a way of branding, okay?
You could also do the same thing for a replay too. So as an example,
Yes,
like
100%.
if you have, you have your, let's say you take the replay, you put it on Zoom, you put it on YouTube, right? And you want to send people to that YouTube link. Well, the YouTube link sometimes can be big, long, ugly, links. You could have it say, marthasreplays.com, seansreplays.com, margaret'sreplays.com, candace'sreplays.com, and then just have that forward right to whatever video you want, right? And then that's going to be nice and clean. It's memorable, even if they forget it later, if they, click on it later and they want to come back to it, it's pretty easy to remember, right?
Right. Yep. Even the webinar that I hosted 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, I'm still sending out the replay for, and mine's workwithks.com. And I could switch that anytime I want, right? Which is a good thing. It's something that you own. You can swap it out the way you see fit. But the biggest thing with domains in general, just kind of as a tangent and a good, umbrella for you to understand about domains, you want it to be easily readable, easily remembered, and easily written. There's a reason I don't use Kirsty Snyder. No one would spell it right, right? And when you capitalize the beginning letter of each word of your domain, it's easily readable, it's easily remembered, it's easily written. So if they're going to go type it into their browser manually rather than click and go, it could be easily readable, easily remembered, and easily written. Make sense? Now,
Makes
that
sense to
folder,
me.
good, I'm glad. That folder right there, the click this short form video examples, these are actual proven videos and engagement posts that every single time I post them, they work. That one right there that the mouse is on, the 24 hours to get the whatever, I've
Yep.
literally had that for over 2 years. I've had it for 2 years, and every single time I could post it today. I don't even have a replay. I could still post it and send people to my funnel. It's just a different way of saying it, replay, tutorial, intro, overview, my funnel, my video, my whatever presentation, right? Every single time I post that video, it works. And I've had it for 2 years. That one in the bottom left right now on the screen, that's just the green background. Same,
Hmm.
same with that one. I've had that one. Hey, 24 hours to get the replay, whatever it says. I recorded it right here at my desk about a year ago, and I could post it today and still get engagement. Even though I created it one time, I'm still using it right now.
Here's here's what's awesome about this folder, guys. Like, we literally just gave you guys like proven to win content. Like even this one here specifically for the replay. You instead of saying like first to get access to the replay, you could get, first access to the webinar that I'm hosting for 10 people tomorrow night. Do you want to be one of them? You know, you could just switch some of the wording around. And
Right.
again, all of these stuff, you guys, like here's some proven posts. Again, you guys could work. If I held a live training this weekend for making $100 a day, would you want to come? I mean, come on, man. Like, we're just giving you guys, these are proven to win posts here that you guys can
Mhm.
use. So, and you now have access to this. It's in your folder. It's right here in this document. Kirsten, I know the big elephant in the room is, and I know we're 10 minutes coming up on the hour here, so let's get this wrapped up. Um, Take us through a quick webinar flow, and it doesn't have to be, like just bullets, like bullets. How would you
Sure.
start a webinar? How would you, do you follow like the same kind of 4-point formula that we would have in, say, like a short form video, or what would be your webinar flow if we could just kind of outline that in the next 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to 4-point formula. If you guys are on the funnel team, you know what it is: hook, build up, present value, call to action.
Mm-hmm.
Short form videos have those four pieces because they get the engagement, they get the comments, they get the direct messaging, the people to your funnel, right? That's the point. It's the gateway, it's the trailer to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with a webinar. The difference is a CTA for engagement. I mean, even just like we did today, comment this, drop a makes sense if you feel me. Where are you tuning in from? Hey, Sean, great to see you, right? You have CTAs throughout during a webinar rather than on a short form video. It's just a CTA at the end, right? That's the big difference there as far as those four pieces.
Mm-hmm.
How I start off in a webinar is I will engage people. I love asking the question after I've said, hey, Sean, great to see you. Margaret, awesome to have you. Candace, I'm glad you're on, right? After I've acknowledged people, I will ask, why are you here? How did you find me?
Mm.
Only because I want to know, did they find me on TikTok? Did they find me on Facebook? The last webinar I did a couple weeks ago, hundreds of comments Facebook, probably a dozen for TikTok. So that let me know, that gave me a little bit of data. Okay, my Facebook post did exactly what I thought it would, and TikTok was a little bit lower. What can I do next time, right? It also allowed me to know the quality of people who were on. More people through Facebook. Okay, so I need to focus my effort there the next time I do a webinar, right? It allows me a bit of data. I also like to ask, why are you here? Because yes, the answers will be typical. I want to make money. I need to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to do this. You said I get a free app. Whatever their answers are, it lets me gauge the room for what type of content they saw and why they're here. Now, yes, a lot of times people will just say, oh, I got to make money. Oh, I want to work online. Oh, I want to work through your app, whatever. But then you dive deeper. The next question I will ask is typically something like, how much do you want to make?
Yep.
I love asking that because it allows me to know where their mindset is. It has nothing to do with the number they say, it has everything to do with their mindset. I'm not looking for someone to comment $1 million a month. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay. But if someone does say something like that, I will acknowledge it and I will say, how much are you making right now, Bob? And if they're like, oh, I'm making 6,000, then I will completely, as I have told you at the beginning, guys, you're the authority, you're the posture. If he built Bob is making $6,000 a month and he says he wants to make $1,000,000 this year, I will then say, Bob, thank you for being courageous and commenting that. I want to acknowledge your goal and also acknowledge that you have to pay attention tonight, go the distance for how to start this business. Because if you're going to want to get $1,000,000 and you make 6 grand a month right now, you have to be and shape yourself into a different person. Do you agree? I will call him out in a nice way because I want him to know he has to up level himself. He has to go somewhere different in order to attain that goal. Now, it's not often that, Bob or Henry or whoever will comment something crazy and large. Typically, people will comment the extra 2,500 to 5,000, maybe 8,000 at the most. That's a pretty typical answer. And then I'll find just a common ground. I love doing this, and this is on live videos too, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. Please take this to heart because this is a really good nugget for you guys. When you say, how'd you find me? Why you here? Okay, cool. You want to make money? Okay, cool. How much do you guys want to make? Be bold. Drop it in the chat, right? You take an average number, say $5,000 after you have comments come through. I don't care if it's 5, I don't care if it's 50, okay? When you take the number 5,000, you're like, that's $60,000 a year, right? And then I will pause and I will say, could you go to your boss right now and ask for a $60,000 raise? And everyone will comment, no. And I said, and even if you had the guts to do that and you love your boss and he loves you, would he just do it willy-nilly, or would he require you to spend more time, commute longer, have more job duty, more stress, more time away from family? Even if he said, yes, I'll give you 60,000, it's going to come with other strings attached, right? Usually that gets through and being like, oh, shoot. Okay. So even if I got an extra $5,000 a month, I wouldn't be able to go to my daughter's soccer game. Freak, right? And then you paint the picture. Pause again. Tonight, we're going to be discussing how in 2 hours a day, you could go get the extra $5,000 a month and you don't have to commute longer. You don't have extra stress and you can be there for your daughter's soccer game. Would you be okay with that? And when all the yeses come through, you have engaged leads. You have people who are like, oh, okay, I want the $5,000 a month, 2 hours a day. I'm in. You're building up this rapport, this feeling, this excitement of, I could do that. I could do that, right? That's a beautiful thing. Always, always, always ask questions like that at the beginning because you're painting a picture for what it is you're going to talk about. Okay. I love those questions. Now, after I do that, I will intro myself. I'll usually drop a joke and say, okay, well, listen, why should you listen to a gal like me? I live in Colorado. I'm a mom of 3 kids, and I'll make a joke and almost downplay why they should listen to me, and then I'll say why they should listen to me. I'll give a little bit of result. Now, I don't care if you're new to the funnel team. I don't care if you have 7 sales or you have 0, if you've made $700 or you've made 70 cents. Wherever you are, when you say and you intro something like, hey, I live in Colorado and I do this and I'm retired and I have this and I want to take my grandkids on a trip, whatever the thing is, how you intro, I want you to tie it back to the value of the funnel team. It does not have to be your personal results. Now, if you have the personal results and you feel good and you want to say that, like for me, I got out of $120,000 of debt. I will say that on the video because that is a result that's real for someone that I've personally experienced. If you do not have that, that's okay. Your result would be, I want to be able to retire comfortably and I want to take my grandkids to Disney World this year. So I started this business and I'm so glad I can work from my phone 2 hours a day and make money because of an app. You don't have to say, I'm making this amount, I have this many sales. You're just painting the picture of value for what it is that person wants, the person watching. It doesn't have to just be, oh, look at me, I've done this and this and this. If you've not done this and this and this, don't lie, be true, right? And just paint the picture for what the funnel team does and just make it personalized to you. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know. Just drop a word makes sense if you feel me, okay? After I intro myself, yeah, go ahead.
Let me just add something super quick and then we'll wrap up the flow tips here. Sure. One of the things, guys, I love doing about the CTAs and, when you're, in other words, AKA getting people to comment, right? This comes in clutch as you're going through the webinar, as you're presenting the value down the road. And we're going to get to that in a minute. As you're presenting the value, So when you're asking somebody, hey, what's your ideal income per month? Later on in the webinar, when you start presenting the value and start presenting the business and asking and giving that call to action, hey, go to XYZ right now if you want to get started, this is where you can start inserting and using what people commented on, because now you're going to re-engage them and get their attention
Yep.
again. So if someone said, my ideal income is $7,000 a month, you could literally circle back when you're presenting the value and say, hey, just like Bob, who was looking to make $7,000 a month, that's exactly what the system can do. Because
Mhm.
right now, Catherine is making that exact amount. She's a single mom rocking this business in about an hour to two per day right from her phone. It's like,
Right.
boom, you just gave a direct tie in to somebody's comment and literally also referenced somebody on the team, or, just said, hey, if you're looking to make $7,000 a month, Bob, or anyone watching, like, this is exactly how you're going to do it right here with this system, app,
It's a
whatever
tie
it is that
down.
you're talking
Yep.
about at that specific time. So use this. This isn't information isn't here just to get them engaged. It's to literally take it and use it throughout the webinar. It gives you the fuel to keep people engaged and be like, man, if they can do it, if I can do it, whatever. It just
Mhm.
keeps people engaged if you keep using that information. So I hope that makes sense.
Exactly. Yep. And it's a tie down. When you have tie downs and takeaways, so what? I get an app. Well, the takeaway for having the app is that you don't have to purchase fancy equipment. You don't have to have all the things. You could be on the train or you know, on the beach or at Walmart, and you could be making money from your phone without the extra everything. The
Mhm.
takeaway about the app, it's not that you have an app, it's that you can pull up your phone and make money. You can pull up your phone, scroll through social media, and instead be making money, right?
Mhm.
That's the takeaway for that. So constantly be thinking about tie downs, takeaways. What's the tie down for Bob wanting to make 7,000 a month? Well, Bob feels acknowledged if 10 minutes into the webinar I say, "Remember how Bob wanted to make 7,000 a month? Well, this is how he's going to do that." And then you tie it down and you paint the picture for what the funnel team does, okay? Now, after I intro myself, yes, I will get into the skinny of it. I'll even say that on the webinar. Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes. Okay, let's get to the skinny of it. How are you, Bob, Bill, Henry, whoever, going to make the $5, $6, $7,000 a month? Well, here's how. And then I go into what our opportunity has with our fulfillment team. Okay, with GFU. I'll go into the wealth, health, and travel. I'll just briefly say it. I don't even say a ton of examples. I will just say you get travel benefits. If every time you traveled, every time you rented a car, every time you wanted to book a trip or go to Las Vegas or whatever, I'll try to make it personal for them. If someone commented they're in Las Vegas, I'll bring up Las Vegas, right? Um, every single time you travel, if you could save money, have more money in your pocket for the things that you need to get done or things you want to do, what do you want in? Yes. And then I'll go on to the health. You guys know it's so annoying to have to stock your shelves and have inventory that you don't care about. Well, what if you could sell health products and not have to own them yourself, not even have to use them yourself, but just have another income stream? Would you want in? And then everyone comments yes, right? That's my spiel about health. That's a very easy way. I don't have to be like, oh, and then there's this that you put on your face and what? You don't have to say any of that. You could literally have a 2 sentence thing and then you move on to wealth. Hey guys, you know that there are multiple trainings and courses and gurus out there that you would have to pay to learn how to do social media, that you would have to pay per topic to learn how to do artificial intelligence or crypto or real estate, right? What if today I could give you access to all those things, right? Real estate and crypto and learning e-commerce and whatever. If I could give you all those things for one price, encompassing all of it, what do you want in? Holy cow, yeah, I want to learn Airbnb. Cool. Oh, I don't have to pay for it? No, I could just learn it. Great. Right? And then I say how you're going to sell this membership, right? That's something to say at the beginning after before you talk about the travel, health, and wealth. How you sell this membership is by using the funnel team training system, the app for lead generation. You talk about that too, you tie it down, but you're encompassing both the back end of GFU and the front end of TFT. One cannot exist without the other. You can't have a business. You can't make money with the funnel team unless you have something to sell on the back end, right? You also won't know how to sell that thing on the back end if you don't know how to sell it, which is where the funnel team comes in. You can say that on the webinar, how they go together, how they're the same, how they, are the best partnership. You have both. right? And then at the end, depending how you guys want to do it, I personally pull up a document and I give them a lot of incentive to get into a certain level. But you could do the same thing, not add anything else, and just explain, hey, you could get into the starter level for $130 one time, blah, 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 right? And if you want to add more incentive for a higher level, then you can just get creative with it. Okay. And then I have a CTA. Hey guys, thanks for coming on tonight. Make a decision. Your future self will thank you. Come in at the level that you value yourself at. Come in at the level for whatever matches your income results. And I'll follow up with you in just a moment if I don't see your enrollment come through. And then you end the webinar. It's as simple as that. But at the end, when you're talking about the pricing, when you're talking about the levels, this is the part where maybe it would be beneficial for you guys to practice. Because you could probably talk about the business now, even if you feel you only know like a couple inches of it, right? You could talk about the business now and just use exactly what I just said. You could also practice, in my opinion, talking about the levels, because I know when it comes to money, people get nervous. But if you're presenting it in an authority way, a postured way of, hey, you could start at $630 and get a vacation just for enrolling today. That sounds a lot better than being like, oh, and when you spend $630, you get a vacation. And I don't remember where to, but you know what I mean? That type of presenting doesn't come across confident. So practice this piece. This is the piece that probably is going to be, I would assume, a little bit more nerve-wracking for you than just starting at the beginning. How much do you want to make? Hey, I'm Candace from this place and I do this and I'm excited to be here, right? That piece is probably something to practice. Practice it in the mirror, practice it in front of your significant other, your dog, whoever, but practice it so that you can be comfortable and confident talking about money. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any
I
thoughts
think,
on that?
yeah, it's crazy because a lot of people are, I think, nervous stating the fact that, one of the levels to join at is $2,500, and people like nervous. Well, if I say this, I'm just going to push them away. It's like, well, you're right, because you won't be that person that ever makes those big sales because you're afraid to talk about it. But when you're not afraid to talk about it, it's you don't, just like we stated this the other day on Friday, do not decide for people. Like you gotta remove that from your psyche and stop deciding for people. Like if you don't want to mention the $1,000 level or the $2,500 level because you don't think that they're going to buy it because it's too much money, then you're going to be right and you're never going to make those sales. So do
Right.
you want to be right or do you want to make the sales? Like don't decide for people. Put it out there, be confident about it. Like, and the value that you get for the money is absolutely freaking ridiculous. So like be confident in what you have to offer because it's pretty freaking awesome.
Yep. And practice. I mean, have
Yep.
have your first webinar. Say one of you guys out there watching this now, or even those on the replay. Let's say you host your first webinar this week and you totally botch it. Okay, rebound your ball.
Yep.
Because the first couple webinars I did, it's awkward as crap. Like, I'm like, what am I doing? I didn't have enough tie downs. I was like all over the place. I felt flustered, right? Still got sales, even though all of that was not in alignment. All of that was so nerve wracking. And the more I did it, the better it got. It's a compounded habit. Okay. And you got to start somewhere. So, for those watching right now, for those on our YouTube live and those on our Zoom, I dare you to look at your calendar and pick a date and time that you will do a webinar. Make it so you can do engagement posts before who wants to come. You can set up a Zoom link. You can have all those things. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be where you're going to smash into what I would call a terror barrier, right? Oh, this is scary. I don't know how to get past it. I feel chaos. I feel anxious. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, duh, you don't know what you're doing. You're not on the bike pedaling yet. You're outside of the bike looking in, getting the cutest helmet, buying the fanciest tires, but till you get on the bike, you don't know how to ride, right? And it's the same thing here. Just make yourself do it. Just hurry up and get the first one out of the way so the second one's a little better. Maybe you're still awkward as heck. Maybe you still botch it, but the third one gets a little better. The fourth one gets a little bit better. Going just like going on Facebook Live, just like going on TikTok Live. You're awkward as heck. It's hard to watch. You feel funny, right? You're in this chaos, this weird anxiety vibration. And then the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, girl, I got this. right? You get more confident based on practice. But the reality is the people watching don't have a dang clue that it's your first time. And even if you were to say, hey, it's my first time doing it, do you know how much respect the person in the audience would have? The person in the comments would have? Wow, it's their first time. They'd give you more grace and they'd be like, shoot, they're doing it. Wow, good for them. They're courageous. I want
Mm-hmm.
to be like that. Right. It's always how you make them feel. So be you, follow the formula, but also understand at the beginning, it's okay to suck. It's okay at the beginning to be like, whoa, what the freak am I doing? Same. That was me also.
Yep.
And now I can do it without even thinking about it because I've done it so much. But I started at zero just like you, right? So take evidence that you can create the same. It's just about compounding the habit and doing it this week. How many of you guys, whether you're live with us now on YouTube or Zoom, whether you're on the replay, how many of you guys within the next 7 days are going to host a webinar? Just put the word webinar if that's you. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
scared typing that out, that's okay. The anxiety
Yep.
that you feel, the chaos, the foreign vibration in your heart that you're like, woohoo, what the freak am I doing? That's a good thing. Step beyond it. Step beyond it. Okay.
Now, guys, what we're gonna do here, in this folder and obviously on this document too, what I'm gonna put is a couple of example webinars. I'll drop a webinar that Kirsty did. I'll also drop a webinar that I did to give you guys the examples and also to give you two completely different viewpoints. And you guys can obviously use the ones that work best for you. I'm going to share one where I like to use slides, and I have the slides all built out. I'm going to give you guys the slides, okay? Um, so if you guys want to use slides, you can. Now, Kirsty doesn't use slides. She's much more personal, much more connected. She's on camera more. And she connects with her audience. And to be honest with you, she closes way more sales than me. So if that's a hint, I don't know what is. But like she does that really well. I like the slides, but it's again, it just gives you guys two different viewpoints. So again, what we're gonna do here, guys, is we're gonna give you guys all the tools, everything you need. Now you just gotta go do it. And okay, and I know again, this is nerve-wracking, but go ahead, comment the word webinar. We got webinar comments coming in on the live stream. So awesome. Appreciate that. I know you guys are jumping out. You guys are launching yourselves with a bazooka out of your comfort zone. I get it. But always remember, everyone starts at zero. It is up to you if you want to stay there. So
Right.
webinar comments coming in here on the Zoom as well. Appreciate that. So plain and simple, guys, like you just got to get out there and go do it. We gave you guys so much content, so much material here that you guys can use as you guys are leading up to this. Don't overthink it. Just put it on the calendar, start getting out there, start doing it. That's the only way you're going to get past it. Just go do the thing. And those of you guys that are catching on and you guys haven't caught up to where we're at right now, link in the description down below this video. You guys will land here. You can start with the intro video all the way up to day 6, which is where we're at right now. And these are the things that we've covered so far. So we talked about a webinar overview. We talked about reach outs, doing those every day. We talked about Facebook posts, doing those every single day. And we talked about short form videos. So now you have your marching orders. So hopefully today, just like you guys did on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you guys are going to do your reach outs. You guys are going to do your Facebook posts. You guys are going to do your 3+ short form videos. And now you guys are going to schedule a webinar. We are moving forward into the 90-day massive action game plan. Remember, like I said in the very beginning, day one, this isn't the 90-day, let me kind of think about it, dip my toes in the water. Like, let's freaking go, guys. Like, let's go. So what you guys can also do, please feel free to invite anyone that you want here, whether it be your leads, whether it be people that are on your team. You can invite them here. They can go to mydailyhangout.com and they can get registered for this Zoom, mydailyhangout.com. And obviously, if you want to get with us and be on our team and get access to the folder, our funnels, the done for you system, the app, everything else that we talked about, you can go ahead and get back to the person that shared this with you, or you can drop a comment down below if you don't know who that is, and I will help you figure that out. Kirsty, my goodness, thank you for taking more than enough time out of your day. I know we always say, let's make it an hour, and we always suck at that and go way beyond. But
Hey, it's a
appreciate
daily
you taking
hangout.
time
What can
away
we
from
say?
Joss and your family and hanging out with us here. So thank you so much for dropping all of that value.
Sure. You got it. Yeah, Jocelyn, she's my little 2-year-old daughter. She's been fine. She was really grumpy up until I came on. So that was going to be interesting, but she's been good. But point in case, you can do this business anywhere in the world, right from your mobile device, with and without kids, craziness, a job, all the
Mm-hmm.
things. So be sure to have that come across in your webinar, because when you do, you're going to have people relate to you and you're going to have people buy because they feel something from you. Okay. All right.
That's it,
Thank you
guys.
guys.
Let's have some fun. Let's keep hanging out every day. We're going to keep bringing the value. You just keep showing up every single day. Invite people to here to show up with you. Let's make this a party. By the time we get through the 90 days, let's make this an absolute daily party. Hang out, have a good time, deliver some value. We're going to hold you guys accountable, hold yourself accountable, and we're going to keep on rocking, and we're going to crush these next 90 days out. Kirsty, thank you again for being here. We will see you guys. Well, we'll see you guys in the funnel team group in a minute for Mindset Monday. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for day number 7. We'll catch you guys later.